open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself at my home, tell me where you been. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go.
And welcome to the Larry Timko Show on 1070 NBC Sports, Charlotte County Sports Authority. Broadcasted live from our Howard's Pool World Studios, where they didn't invent pool service, they perfected it. Gonna have Bret Ernst in studio. He'll be performing at Vasani's all weekend long. For tickets, just log on to Vasani.net or call 941-629-9191. We'll be talking baseball as the Boston Red Sox have punched their ticket to the World Series, and now we're just waiting on the Dodgers and Brewers series to wrap up. Lots of football action to talk about. Horrible game last night, by the way. Broncos-Cardinals, that was just a disaster for Arizona. We'll talk a little bit about that. And, of course, high school football tonight at 7:15. You could join myself and Jeff Briscoe as the Charlotte Fightin' Tarpons take their 6-1 record up to Cape Coral to take on the 5-2 Cape Coral Seahawks. And if the Tarpons win this game, they'll wrap up the district and clinch it. Yeah, go Tarpons, wrap up that district and punch your ticket to the playoffs. I'm surprised. I thought this was going to be a really good matchup because of the fact that both these teams were going to be undefeated in district play going into games tonight. That's not the case because the Seahawks lost last week 3-0. How in the world did the Seahawks get blanked? Because they're the ones that usually pitch the shutouts. They've posted 3 shutouts so far this season, and they beat the Port Charlotte Pirates 31-29 in a game that they really leaped out to a big lead, and then the Pirates almost came back and beat them. But I guess last week, they had 10 starters out of the game, including their starting quarterback. Now, head coach Binky Waldrop, you can listen to the Coach's Corner today at 5:15 with Jeff Briscoe. I will give you a little bit of hint of what he said. He says that this is going to be a completely different team than last week because they're healthy. And they've beaten some really good teams this year when they're full strength. They're a really good football team at full strength. Last week, 10 starters out, including their starting quarterback. That's why they were skunked 3-0. And they were skunked in a district game, too, which really helped the Tarpons' cause. It's going to be a good game. I look at what they have on their roster, and the Seahawks, they're not bad. They got some good athletes. They can run. They've got some strong kids. And I'm looking at some of the players: Michael Gary, Anthony Cody, Frankie Smith, Fabian Long, Rashawn Edmondson, junior linebacker Bailey Garcia. All these kids on defense, when they're healthy, they can make plays. And they got this really good tight end defensive end in Trayshawn Clark who can catch some passes deep downfield. He's a big kid. But overall, I'm looking at these stats, and the Tarpons can handle them. No problem. Their quarterback, Odell, he's a junior. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, only a QB rating of 80.2. Alex Muse, definitely better than that. I'm looking at the running game. You got to stop Canty. He's the senior. 86 carries, 566 yards, 11 touchdowns. You slow him down, you slow down this rushing attack. And same with the receiver. Feliz, we've seen him a couple of years ago. He's a senior. 22 catches, 422 yards, 6 touchdowns. But we all know what the Tarpons love to do. They love to run the ball on the ground. Close to 1,600 yards on the ground through 7 games. That's pretty good. Alex Muse, of course, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season, does a really good job of hanging onto the ball and not turning it over, and you can run it with anybody. Muse has 372 yards, 9 touchdowns. I think he had, 3 last week in that game we broadcast? Behind him, Jalen Grant, 422 yards. Jeremiah Harvey, 263 yards. Grant's got 8 touchdowns, by the way. You got 3, 4, 5, 6 players on this team that have 100 yards or more rushing. That's pretty impressive. Anybody can run this ball. And I give credit to the offensive line. They're just opening up some big smashing holes. Yeah, to create running lanes for these running backs. So I'm looking at the 6-1 Tarpons going up against the 5-2 Seahawks. If the Seahawks are healthy, I think they'll make it more of a game. But overall, I just think the Tarpons just have way too much talent. The district is theirs. It's theirs for the taking. And I think they'll take it tonight. And don't think we'll have a running clock, but I can see the Tarpons winning this game like 45-21 easily. They might come out a little slow the first quarter just because of the fact it's a road game, and I call it bus fatigue. But I think once they shake that off, they'll be just fine. And then the Pirates, they got to play a district game tonight too. And then next week, of course, is the big Bedlam rivalry game as the Charlotte Tarpons and the Port Charlotte Pirates will battle it out. Pirates still have a chance at the second seed, but they're going to need the Cape Coral Seahawks to not only lose tonight, but they're going to have to lose one more game. And for the Pirates to actually really make the second seed in the playoffs, they're going to have to beat the Charlotte Tarpons next week. 3 losses in the district's not going to get it done. 2 losses in the district barely gets it done. So we'll see what happens there. But high school football tonight, 7:15, Charlotte Tarpons against the Cape Coral Seahawks right here on Charlotte County Sports Authority, 1070 NBC Sports. And then tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., it's the Sports Arena show from 11 to 11:30, and that'll go right into college football as Oklahoma hosts TCU. Actually, they'll take on TCU. That's the 11:30 game. And then at 3 o'clock, it's Alabama versus Tennessee, followed by the primetime game, UConn versus USF. And that is our college football schedule. What we'll do is we'll take our first break, and we'll come back with comedian Bret Ernst on Charlotte County Sports Authority, 1070 NBC Sports. Whoa. Welcome back to the Larry Timko Show on 1070 NBC Sports, Charlotte County Sports Authority, broadcasted live from our Howard's Pool World Studios. Joining me in studio, Eric Andreas from Vasani's and comedian Bret Ernst. How you doing, Bret?
What's up, buddy?
Good to have you in studio. Oh, I don't have a litall thing for you.
Never mind. It's good. I don't need it. We can hear each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel official when I have the headsets on.
All right, Bret, of course, who's been in here before. This is his second trip here to Vasani's that I know of.
Yeah,
second trip. Cool. If you've seen the show Weeds, he was in that. He's been in all kinds of stuff. Vince Vaughn's comedy tour, Wild West tour, all kinds of stuff, man. Yeah, doing a good job making a name for yourself.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It's been 21 years.
I know.
I'm doing comedy, so hopefully.
It's funny you're in that show Weeds. I have a problem with Showtime and the way they end shows. They just do a bad job of the way they end shows, finales. Weeds, I was mad at Weeds. Dexter kicked me off.
I heard that. I didn't watch the end of Dexter.
I only watched the episodes I was in on Weeds.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the show, but Dexter I started to watch, and it gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna catch him, and then you're rooting for the serial killer.
That was the beautiful part about the show.
Yeah,
because you were rooting for the serial killer.
I just don't like the way it ended, and I was like, Showtime does that.
How did it end?
I don't want to give it away.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
The show ended in 2012.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
it ended with his sister dying, him sailing out on his boat, getting wrecked by a hurricane, and then they presume he's dead, and then he shows up like in Montana or something as a lumberjack.
Well, they're talking about bringing it back.
It was horrible. Yeah. I was like, really? That's how you're going to end the show?
Sister, did she ever find out he was a serial killer?
Yeah, she did.
Did she care?
It kind of caused some stress in the relationship. Yeah.
But I mean, he uses evil powers for good.
Yeah.
He does it the right way.
It's a weird
kind of like the Punisher, how he works for the devil, but he's doing good things with the bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And what's that other one? Hell's.
And you know what else I can't get into? Walking Dead, man.
I can't get into.
It's the same thing.
Anything with zombies and vampires, I'm just not into.
But it's like, all right, we got to get here now. Yeah. Okay, don't get bit. We're here. They're coming.
I never got that craze. The new thing is that Netflix show, the scary one. That's what everybody's talking about.
I'm watching it. It's not that scary.
Stranger Things?
No, House on Haunted Hill, whatever it's called, The Haunting of the Hill House or something.
Is it good?
Yeah,
I heard it's
good,
done
but
very well.
It's not scary though. It just you know what it is there's a timeline where they start in the present and they go to the past and then you start figuring things out. It's really good.
No, I've heard everybody talking about it.
But I don't think it's that scary.
Okay.
I don't know. Horror, ghost movies, I'm just not into that stuff. But suspense, like Seven was a good one. That's the kind of horror, scary stuff I like, the suspenseful movies.
Yeah, the psychotic ones, right?
Yeah, psychos. I'm into psychics.
But like
psychotics.
And then, the zombies I don't get into.
No.
You know what you got to watch? Have you seen Cobra Kai?
Yeah. He's in
the Karate Kid one?
Oh, that's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the Karate Kid one.
I've actually heard a lot of good chatter on Facebook about that show.
He told me this last night. I didn't believe him.
You're in it?
He's the brother in it. Rotten Tomatoes actually gave it 100.
No, we're still 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've never seen that.
We have over a billion views worldwide. The show itself has more views and rate like than all of the network shows combined.
That's crazy.
No, it's nuts. I didn't know all this until he kind of schooled me on it last night. Well, bragging a little bit.
And then Entertainment Weekly said we're the only thing the internet agrees on.
Wow,
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great little comment there. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, dude, that's what I think. I think everything's getting away from TV and ABC, NBC, Fox.
It's already away.
Yeah,
it's already away.
Everything's like.
They did it to themselves, man. They did it to themselves. They just.
Now Hulu's doing original program, Amazon's doing original program, YouTube's doing original programming.
Well, YouTube was they created this they're streaming. They got that Google money behind them, but
they even got a new phone now, the Google phone.
But I'm saying Google owns YouTube, so they got all that money behind it, and then they actually outbid Netflix for Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and then all the streaming services now. What's great with YouTube. Because if you get the YouTube Premium, which is what it's called now, it was YouTube Red. Because too many people were saying Red too.
A little too close to porn there. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what that is, put it in your browser. Just make sure you clear it before your wife sees it.
Yeah, don't do it at work.
Anyways, but if you got the YouTube Premium, then you get all the network stations and everything. It became like. What's it called? Like Roku, their streaming service. So you get and then the YouTube Premium comes with that. So I think it became like a service where you get, you know what I mean? The streaming service.
Well, it's cool because I actually used to use my Roku box before I got the PS4, and now the PS4 has the YouTube and the Netflix and all that crap on it too. No, so I don't need it, but I'm on YouTube a lot, so I'm gonna check that out.
Well, the first 2 episodes are free, and then you got to watch the rest of the series. Right, but it's with the original cast.
I'll just get Andrew's password. He's got YouTube.
we have it. I won't tell it. Not on the air.
I'm just kidding. That's awesome, man.
No, but it's got Ralph Macchio's in it and Johnny, the original. There's the original cast.
Yeah.
With the exception, obviously, Mr. Miyagi.
Would you do a whole season? One season?
Yeah, it's 10 episodes.
Oh, that's great. Are you going to do another season?
Yeah, we're in season 2 now.
When do you start filming for that?
They're already filming. I'm not on deck yet.
Okay, but you're planning on being on deck.
Well, I was only in 7 out of 10 episodes last year.
Only?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying in Hollywood terms, it's I'm not a star of the show. I'm just recurring.
Yeah,
and then this year, I can't really talk about season 2.
Right.
But there's
But
it's
stuff
good,
going
man.
on. Yeah.
You guys, seriously, if you're a fan of the Karate Kid.
Oh, who isn't? Yeah,
but this is what I'm thinking though. You got all these millions of viewers watching this on YouTube, right? And you're just like you said, you're a part-time actor on the show, a bit part, right?
Well, it's a recurring, yeah.
Well, look at shows like The Office and stuff like that, and these guys, they're not the star of the show, but people love Kevin, people love Dwight. You know
well, I mean? the problem
you develop this cult following,
which is great. Like right now with the with streaming services and with network television, everything's spread out everywhere. So like nobody's just real. There's like 4 shows everybody's watching. Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
that's
you know what
one.
I mean. I don't know what other shows you can name.
I really.
So now, like if you have a show with most of the shows on network television, pretty much all the shows on network television probably would have been canceled in the early 90s. Like their highest rated show would have been canceled.
Yeah, because their ratings when they're pulling a 4 rating, that's a great show right there.
I know.
You know what I mean?
When Roseanne came back, they were flipping out over the ratings over that. And when I was looking at the ratings, it's like they weren't Super Bowl ratings.
Yeah, no, they weren't crazy.
If it wasn't for live sports, I think the networks would fold.
Oh, that's what I watch. I watch live sports, and or if my TV's on, it's watching reruns of The Office. It really is. Yeah.
And then the streaming services, they don't have to compete with standards and practices and all that other crap, so they have more freedom.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood has gotten too political to where people don't even want to watch anything anymore. Yeah. And it's self-destructing. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, it's because like 10 years ago, you pretty much knew everybody who was on television.
Yeah, because there was only 4 channels.
Yeah,
and Fox didn't count.
Back
in the day,
except for the Simpsons.
You had two shows
and Married with Children.
Yeah, the Simpsons and Married with Children.
No, and 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah,
that's another one.
That was on Fox.
That was on Fox.
I love that show.
Retailers with the 3 shows.
I wanted to be Johnny Depp when I grew up. I was like, I'm guys.
And I liked Richard Grieco too.
But dude, it was crazy. I was when I was in the manager.